Alright, welcome back everybody to Tunic. We've reached the first, second, I don't know. We reached an area. We've rung 2 bells. I assume we're about to go try to collect one of the 3 MacGuffins. Again, I'm going to be comparing a lot of Zelda, a lot of Dark Soul references in here. So, because this game, like I said, feels like a, it's got the tunic thing. He's wearing a green tunic like Zelda. I mean, like Link. And he is sort of, his boss battles are sort of more like Dark Soul boss battle. Where it's more of learning the boss pattern, dodging, blocking, that sort of thing. It is less to do with having the right piece of equipment, figuring out the puzzle, and solving the puzzle, which is also not only a regular puzzle, but it's also a boss puzzle. The boss is a puzzle to figure out. Anywho. So, spiders are weird to me. They appeared in the forest once, and when I went back to that same area of the forest, they didn't reappear. So now they're appearing here in this cavern, cave thingy, which is a good place for spiders, you know, dark place to, you know, where your prey sometimes wanders looking for water or food or whatever. Ooh, this is like a jail. Kinda. You don't generally keep treasure chests in jail. You keep those in your treasure hoard hole. Alright, I gotta just eat that real quick. Just get full life. Mind you, I'm looking at my statistics there. I'm all 3s and 4s with 2 speed and 1, I believe, magic. Or no magic, maybe. I don't know. Didn't take good enough look, I think. Or just a little bucket there, or whatever the hell that's supposed to be. A drinking thing. A poop bucket. A yogurt cup, perhaps. Hello, sir. You're the first person I've run into that looks just like that. And it makes me disturbed because you're carrying around a candle. Which means you're probably, if I had to guess, some variation of either a magic user, or perhaps, if I'm not lucky, perhaps a pyromancer. Which I really don't want to run into a pyromancer in this game. Like if he starts throwing fireballs is what I mean. But he's holding that candle, so I'm guessing he's some variation of a mage. Whether that be did I say necromancer or pyromancer? I meant pyromancer, fire. What's this? Oh, that's no good. I use my Dark Souls knowledge and roll. Stop, drop, and roll. Now, you get hit by fire and you're on fire. Stop, drop, and roll. I'm not sure what you hit there on that backswing. Apparently they are not pyromancers. However, they do swing what appears to be a candle-esque sword swipe. It's like it's clearly they're clearly carrying candles, but their sword, it's like a sword swipe. The way they attack me. It's interesting. That's no good. Don't get attacked. Don't get caught in the fire there, Chris. No good. Ooh, treasure chest. Hello, Mr. Treasure Chest. What do you got for me? Gold coin, always good. Power me up a little bit in terms of my, whatever you call it, the little memory cards I'm getting. Whatever they're actually called, placards. I don't know. I noticed that when you put the heart placard on, it seems to give you a % chance of them dropping a heart. Though the heart itself is not like full health, but only like sort of like a little more than a sliver, but definitely less than you know, obviously like a whatever you want to call those squares that are stacked upon each other. Hello, guidebook. You're gonna give me another. All right. So there's something that happens. Cathedral. Always good. Frog's Domain. I've not been there yet. I don't know what that is either. We're not there yet. We'll get there. Boss of the Scavengers. Something rooted ziggurat. Rifle built out of automated parts, but can only shoot once. Scavengers with this will try to keep their distance. Beefy scavengers will use the miner's greatsword to fucking probably break my skull open. That'd be my guess, anyways. Let's overwhelm these guys with our relentless attacks. Fuck. You ever, like, make the mistake of putting your all-hearing, all-knowing eyeball in your room? You're trying to stream or record an episode and it starts talking to you? I hate that. Alright, I'm gonna have to mute that so she doesn't start talking to me again and fucking weird the shit out of me, because again, I don't live with other people, so when someone starts talking back to me, it makes me want to like crawl out of my skin. Still exploring. Still looking around. So apparently the whatever you would call them, pillars that I've been unlocking and basically going like wop 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 wop, and then they go in the ground. Apparently they're all linked to each other. They're linked by some sort of central... Hello, sir. Good to see you again. Looks like you're now carrying another one. Well, I already knew you carried this. This also is 999 coins. Not that, but this. Alright, well I gotta make 2,000 people gold, or tunic gold here to get these. What I was trying to say is, the little pillar things, they all seem to be connected, which I'm gonna guess is probably connected to the main temple thingy. So for instance, this one on the left, as you can see, is powered up, whereas the one on the right is not powered up. So we're gonna basically send this one down, give the power to half the door, and then we'll take care of these guys. There's probably some other... Yeah, because you see there's no power leading to this one. So I'm guessing I'm not going to be able to do anything with it until I've fully... I need to roll. Can you roll, Chris? Thanks. Until you fully unlocked the you know, the power source that's coming to them. So I'm gonna have to go outside the building to unlock whatever's blocking the switch here. Yes, will you please die already? You're getting annoying now. Pissing me off. Annoying. Yeah, I was worried that wasn't gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a better job of this. You can see that even the little pillar thing. Love how those guys just teleport out of the way like a jerk. What I was trying to say is you can see even this pillar thing. I'm not going to be able to light this up because there's no power going to it, let alone, you know, the following hookup that occurs after it. So we're going to have to further explore so that we can see if this leads to anything else, you know. I presume it does, because you can see there's one up there that's looks like it's ready to be prayed at / lit up, so I'm just gonna have to make my way around the back in order to light up the pillar, and then we'll continue down into that courtyard. The courtyard, I can light up that one, and then that should lead me towards the golden door thing that's all locked up right now. But let's try to take out these guys first, and then we'll go from there. Ooh. Another hero's grave. This is what, the third one I've found? The original one had my sword. I'm guessing these probably all lead to the same thing if I pray in front of them. Yeah, it looks like we end up in the spirit world. And I cannot access these. I have to imagine, as I said before, that there's probably some sort of puzzle unlock that you need to do. I'm gonna guess to raise some sort of, you know, what's the word? To raise some sort of platform that allows you to go get the upgrade. Could be super wrong though, so we'll have to find out. find out by playing the game. Which is half the fun of this game, I think, is the fact that you don't know and you can't know. Or you could know, I guess, if you wanted to cheat. But I think, learning is half the fun of this game. So, like, one of the things I've occasionally heard people say, like, I wish I could forget Dark Souls. Usually it's Dark Souls 1. But I guess any of the Dark Souls games could be in that, Bloodborne, Demon Souls. Because experiencing a game like that for the first time, which is similar to this one, where they give you no information whatsoever, and they say, okay, welcome to Everyloyalson. You have reached the main hub, which, what do they call that? They call it the Great Bonfire. I don't know. Whatever the main bonfire is in Dark Souls 1. And they say to you, there's a guy who's given up trying because in every Dark Souls / Demon Souls game, there's always been a guy who's what they call forsaken or forlorn, who's basically given up on the task that's been assigned to them, which is to, in this case, go ring 2 bells of awakening. And he basically gives you information. He's like, oh, hello. Just freshly gotten out of the undead asylum, have you? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. You need to go ring 2 bells of awakening. There's actually 2 bells of awakening. You need to ring both, and then something happens. Not very interesting, I know. But he actually gives you, like, that's about all the direction he gives you. Well, he gives you more than just that. I apologize. He basically tells you one is up in the belfry loft in the undead parish, and then the other one is down below in the undead burg. Okay. He doesn't, and that's about all the information I think he has, or at least he's willing to give you. But basically, I think because he's undead and he's probably tried to go down there and fight, he's just basically given up on his purpose, other than because he just sits in front of there making fun of the people who try. And then he's like, oh, try not to go undead, because once you lose your purpose, you go undead. Which is, it's a little bit of, I'm told it's a little bit of a metaphor for people who start playing Dark Souls and then give up before they actually finish the game because they don't have the determination, or whatever the phrase you want to use. I know determination's the fancy word in Undertale. If you don't have determination, you'll never finish the game. Or you'll just do it perfectly the first time because you happen to know that Undertale is the anti-RPG, and that its successor Deltarune, while not 100% finished, may be attempting to, my theory at least on Deltarune is that you will not be able to do the true, if Toby actually insists or continues to do the concept of a pacifist ending, a neutral ending, and a genocide ending, you will not be able to unlock either the genocide or pacifist endings until that game is 100% out, because I'm pretty sure he put an enemy in the first part of the first game to basically force, this is my theory, it doesn't mean it's true, because clearly the game is only, well, they're up to what, chapter 4 of 7 or something, so the game is a little more than halfway over now, maybe, provided he doesn't decide to add a chapter 8 on at the end or whatever. But in order to get to the point of my story, I'm pretty sure that once people have finished playing through, quote unquote, playing through the game, they'll find out that Toby put in an enemy in the first game that prevents you from getting the I fought nobody and killed nobody ending, provided he chooses to do that, of course. But if he doesn't, that's a whole nother situation. I can't obviously predict what they're working on with that game, or the direction they're going to choose to leave that game in a final finished state, okay? But if it's anything, like I said, like Undertale, if he's truly going to do a pacifist genocide runs, I'm pretty sure he's locked out the ability for you to do that, I'm guessing, until he's fully done with the game. And then at that point, he may tweak one or two enemies that prevent you from achieving the genocide / pacifist runs, and then make it so that you can actually do a full pacifist run. But in order to do that, you got to play the game over again. Hard to say. The only reason I believe that, and it doesn't have anything to do with Toby or his game or what he's planning on doing or what he has in mind for future chapters, is the fact that I played, and I know this is going to seem like a stretch, I played a game called Europa Universal 4. And if you play the game that came out, I've mentioned this before, I'm sure. If you play that game the day it came out and you play it in its final build, you are looking at nearly two different, I'm not going to say completely different games. They're still the same game, but they added more provinces. They changed mechanics. Everything they did to that game makes it, I wouldn't say unrecognizable, but there's so much added to that game in all of the many DLCs that I would guess that game, you could say the game is completely different than when it launched. Because it's not like we balanced some shit out to fix some bugs that people were using to exploit the game, but rather we overhauled whole mechanics of that game and completely changed the way certain things operate. And like example, I'll give you a quick example. When EU4 originally came out, there were no country trees. There were no trees that historical tree that you could follow that would lead you down different paths depending on what aspect of that country you wanted to follow. And there were no bonuses, long-term. Well, there were long-term bonuses, but there was nothing that was specifically nation-focused other than your initial starting position and some of the initial, and I guess programmed in government type stuff, like Prussia gets access to a unique type of government. But, England and them, they're given the ability to colonize, that sort of stuff. And then you could use secondary policies to help hybridize your country.